is my friend Ira Kaufman of Joe Bucs fan. Ira, Jameis Winston, unbeknownst to me, is still under investigation. Explain to my viewers what's going on.
Well, there was an alleged incident in Arizona in 2016 in spring where an Uber driver claims that Jameis Winston groped her in her Uber cab. This has been going on since November. The NFL's been looking into it. Buck fans are obviously very interested in the outcome of this probe, which seems to have no end to it. They are talking about the franchise quarterback of the Bucs. They're not talking about the backup center. So it's a matter of frustration for Buck ownership, for general manager, the coach. They don't know where they stand right now. Could be a 4-game suspension. He could be exonerated. They just don't know. And Ronald Darby, who backed up Winston's account of an alleged rape allegation when he was at Florida State. Ronald Darby says he was in the cab on the night in question, and the Uber driver says the only people in the cab were the driver and Winston. So I don't think this sounds like a very complicated case. I think it should have been wrapped up a long time ago. And, listen, it's got ramifications because suppose you're a Buck fan in Tampa. You're looking for, go to the first couple of games, single game tickets. You want to see Jameis Winston play. You don't want to see Ryan Fitzpatrick play. So, there's a lot of offshoots of this story. I'm here in Atlanta. I'm on a mission. I'm trying to get some information out of the NFL commissioner. But I'll tell you what, it's very vague when the way they do these things. Some things are wrapped up quickly, like a Matt Patricia case,
Yep.
a Marty Herney case in Charlotte. In Carolina, and then you got the Winston thing that's been dragging on since November. So I'm going to try to pin down the commissioner today. I expect a little support from you, my friend.
Hey, you got it. Hey, quick question. Why has it taken so long for this case to come to attention? Because this happened, what, 2015? 2016. Yeah, this is 2018, and it was just brought up, late last year.
Well,
so what's going on?
Basically, what happened was the driver reported this incident that very night that Winston was in that cab. She claims that they're the only two that were in there. Darby claims there's 3 or 4 people in that cab. So Winston's account was immediately suspended, his Uber account, because he is the guy that called for the Uber. That's not in question. He did use his account for that. His account was immediately suspended after she made the allegation. Then nothing happened for like a year and a half.
Right.
And then all of a sudden in November, we hear that the NFL is investigating. She got an attorney. And by the way, it's the same attorney that represented Winston's accuser in the Florida State rape allegation case. The same attorney. So make of that what you want. And now here we are 7 months later, and we still don't know the resolution of this case, but you make a great point. Why didn't we hear about this for a year and a half?
I have another question. Riddle me this. Attorneys don't come free. Either she had the money to pay him, or someone did. He's not taking this on contingency. You and I both know that.
Right.
What's really going on? Is this a PR stunt by somebody?
Well, I mean, you don't know because in the rape allegation case, when she filed a civil suit against Winston, all of a sudden it went away because there was a cash settlement. And who gets part of that cash? The attorney, without question. And here we might have a similar incident, but Winston has not resolved this case, unlike the civil suit in the rape allegation. So as far as we know, the NFL probe continues. Some of these probes are over in 2 weeks. Some of them continue for 7 months. We know what happened with Ezekiel Elliott last year. They didn't rule till after training camp ended, and that's what after Jerry Jones's protests and everything, and he still got nailed for 6 games. So Buck fans are hopeful that this thing all goes away and the guy gets exonerated, but they're fearing the worst.
Riddle me this.
There you go, my friend.
Why is it that when this thing hit, all conservative blogs paid attention to it? I thought that was really interesting.
Well, it's the times we live in, my friend, and I'll give you an example.
Sure.
Now, look, I've been around this game. I've been in this business for about 40 years. I guess I'm getting a little more conservative as my years go older. And I was talking about this with somebody else the other day. In terms of the kneel downs, the protests. Look, people have every right to protest what they feel is unfair treatment. And God knows there's a lot of racism latent still in the United States. However, I do make the point, and I stand by it. Not in the workplace.
Right. Not
in the workplace.
Right.
But yet nobody wants to talk about that issue. You and I couldn't go into our employer with a T-shirt with a political message on it. We wouldn't keep our jobs. That's just the day-to-day people in America. That doesn't happen. It's not allowed to happen. And I'll make this other point. You know, for Michael Bennett, I'm not just pointing him out, but he's very vocal. And I had Michael Bennett in Tampa, a smart guy. Here's my point. If Michael Bennett wants to talk substantively about racial inequality, police brutality, if he called a press conference on Tuesday, Players' Day off, when he was with the Seahawks or whoever he's playing for, every TV station in town, radio station, ESPN, they would all attend that press conference.
Right.
He could, for an hour, he could give his views,
Right.
take Q's and A's. And then he's not representing his football team. He's speaking for Michael Bennett. So that's my only point. And in America, the way the times that we live in, political correctness, throw that in there. I just think this whole issue is getting mischaracterized. I don't think you do things in the workplace. That's my only point.
Now, what I was asking about, however, is this is my view regarding Winston, okay? That this is part of an effort by some conservative public relations people to quite literally throw American opinions against anyone who may be African American, male, outspoken, to say, hey, this person is bad. They've done X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
Because there was a string of these. You know, some of them hit home.
Yes.
But with Winston, and I pointed this out to a number of people, I said, hey, how come conservative blogs are picking up a case of an NFL player and an allegation in an Uber that hasn't even been...
Because it fits a narrative.
Right,
It
but
fits
don't
a
you think
narrative.
that could be engineered today?
Yes.
That's what I'm getting at.
I do.
Right.
And as far as Winston's concerned, you know, with me being in Tampa, some people didn't want the Bucs to draft Winston based on, you know, what happened in Florida State. Some proven, some unproven. So for 2 years, they had nothing to say negative about Jameis Winston. And he's been a good guy in the community, too. He does a lot of community stuff that goes largely unnoticed. For 2 years, they've had nothing to say. Now, the Uber charge comes, as you point out, unsubstantiated, and they're using that to say, hey, I told you, we never should have picked this guy up.
And then look at the attorney that's involved.
Yeah.
Of all people, why him?
Yeah.
He should
Is that a coincidence? Is that a mere coincidence?
I think it's a setup.
Yeah. So, look, I'm here to put Roger Goodell on the spot. He's pretty adept at handling these situations. He probably knows that it's coming because he saw me here. And I normally don't go to the May meeting. I go to the March and, you know, on the owners meeting with the GM. So, you know, they're aware, the league, that I'm here on a mission. Look, we got to get some answers. It's not fair to Winston. It's not fair to the Buck organization. Let's wrap this up one way or another and get a conclusion.
And when he says mission, he doesn't mean for Mitch and Murray.
That's right. I'm going to Mitch and Murray. Always be closing,
Always be closing.
Good to see you, baby.
You too.